world of Len, a great war between the continents of Ebros and Alkish is forcibly brought to an end by the Tempest, a cataclysmic storm that rages over the surrounding oceans. An uneasy peace has been forged, with relations growing colder each passing decade. A party of adventurers, calling themselves the HYDRA, are the only ones to notice the cracks in the ice. A race against time before the world is plunged into the freezing depths of total war. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link, in a debt to a friend. A homebrew campaign.
Session 32 of A Debt to a Friend, the HYDRA has managed to navigate Kyrannor's defences and finds itself in the seat of power in the Protectorate of Bracca, on the continent of Ebros, the very one and only Tranquility Court. It's there where the party had found clones of themselves, as well as Professor Volmac, and along with them the Tranquility Warden, and Grandmaster G.E.E.S.E, who had unfortunately cast mind control upon Helix Swift, the High Elven blade singer, or blade dancer, I believe it is. Forgive me, I don't quite know. I'm not that well versed. You know, I played one a year ago, alright? So, bear with me. So, it's revealed then, however, that the party in front of us are of course the false HYDRA, and that there is indeed no Professor Volmac here. Instead, there is an adult green dragon manipulating the Tranquility Warden, and he holds his face against the throne, transforms into this dragon, and now G.E.E.S.E calls for a wall of force to protect the adult green dragon and the Tranquility Warden. G.E.E.S.E reveals his treachery. "You fools! You have condemned all that we have fought for! I won't let you take this from us! From our people! Give me the crystals!" Boom! Boom. It doesn't quite work like that. Grandmaster G.E.E.S.E holds his sword to Helix. "You don't stand a chance, you whelp! The doom you've brought down upon us!" I think there was meant to be more than that. "The doom you brought down upon us is immeasurable." He prepares a fireball, but Tack casts counterspell, praying to the Raven Queen as the Raven's feathers veer around the veer the fireball off course and explode into one of the statues.
Haven't we gotten far for a pair of fussy marsupials?
So you can tell I'm really enjoying this session. And I've waited way too long to do this video. I'll have to do this the old-fashioned way. You know, I was actually like making it an impression of Dr. Nefarious Tropy, or Dr. Entropy. And he too launches fireballs at the beginning of the night, so that's interesting. Yeah, anyway, moving swiftly on. And so he charges, but as he does, he flits in and out of time itself, using a legendary action to cast Blink, boop, 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 and arrives before us. Kyrannor takes aim with his bow, blessed by melee, as I try to find my place on the page again. And though the shot would be perfect, G.E.E.S.E bifurcates the arrow by just holding his sword there and lets the arrow part itself upon it. "You'll have to do better than that, boy," he says. G.E.E.S.E says. One of the draconic assassins moves to the statue and holds up its blade in prayer, as if in prayer, and calls upon cast lightning, and he casts it upon Kyrannor. As a bolt of lightning strikes him for 14 points of damage. and it does so again, another 12 points of damage. There really are a lot of parallels to Dr. Entropy's fight in Crash Bandicoot 3 here, but never mind. Another assassin is more traditional to what we've seen, moving swiftly past the statues, but now they too can blink. Their blades are rippling as if the poison is somehow phasing the knives in and out of existence. The dragon calls out, "H.Y.D.R.A! Deal with this vermin!" and appears to disappear. So, sorry, it blinks out of existence seemingly. Another assassin launches itself at Rakida, shoulder barging him with a reckless attack, and the final assassin watches from the rear and flicks out its hand. Energy coalesces around it and launches an energy ray at him. 8 force damage punches into him. He shoots at the Griffin Guard, watching in horror, and another beam launches at him but can't punch through the shield. So the Griffin Guard are, unlike the ramp and the upper levels. Like if you think of like a theatre, you've got like the seats at the top, and they're just watching in horror. They're completely paralysed by this display, and they have not been ordered to attack. And Grandmaster G.E.E.S.E is the Grandmaster of the Griffin Guard. They are under his command. Just as I was about to try and do something bravely, going, "Come on, give it, you want to steal? I'll give him a steal, and that's where here it is!" And unfortunately I roll a 1 with my Scimitar Brave song, causing the assassin to headbutt me and knock me back. But I return and swing back for 8 damage, and I call out to the Grandmaster, "Do not align with these fiends. They will doom both of our peoples." "Lies, Commissar, lies. Of course an agent of the chorus would say such a thing. Now, Helix, come and fight me, you traitor!" And with that, Helix prepares himself for battle with mage armor and charges with his blade held high. "Traitor! No, you're the traitor!" And he sings the songs of his people, which have been sung and threatened and saved over centuries, and the two begin to circle each other. The sorrow after the battle rage. This is going to be honourable, and this is not just a battle between warriors, but friends and brothers, almost as if it's Crash Bandicoot and Dr. Neo Cortex and Uku Aku and Uka Uka fighting each other in the final battle of the ages. I don't know where this has come from. I haven't played Crash Bandicoot in a while. Maybe that's the reason why. Maybe I need to play more Crash Bandicoot. Who knows? I think there's going to have to be some Crash Bandicoot music in this fight. So, anyway, moving swiftly on. Okay, not so swiftly because I've just lost where I am. So, the two begin to circle each other, and which I've already said. And as they look to each other, the guards of look through the guards of each other's blades. He sees something. Does Helix? The Tranquility Warden through the wall of force, paralysed. He holds out his hand, and he calls for his loyal protector. Helix answers the call and saves for 14 intelligence. The room around us fades. He's no longer fighting. He no longer finds himself fighting the Grandmaster. He finds himself in the conclave. He finds himself in one of the councillors' seats. Across the way, he sees Grandmaster H.Y.D.R.A and Volmac. At the head is the Tranquility Warden himself. Volmac speaks up. "Thank you for granting me this audience, Tranquility Warden. It is no problem, Volmac. You are a friend of our people's. It is a grave concern. The drums of war beat in Ostergarth once again. It is true. It is true. They improve," says J.A. I'm trying to remember my character voices. "They improve their defences, and they authorise further militarisation." "What does it matter, so long as they stay on the side of the Cold Gulf? The Tempest has our back," says the Warden. "True, but that will require an outlet, and that may well be Bracken," says Volmac. "Have I led you astray before?" he says. "You have not, but what do you suggest?" "Why, the Hollow King." "Such a reaction. But It is the weapon to end the final war before it begins. Indeed. But it may end the threat of Ostergarth once and for all, responds H.Y.D.R.A. Helix rolls 18 history. He's heard murmurings of the Hollow King. It is quite possibly the most, in whispered tones, the most potent embodiment of Bracca's wrath. It is only to be used in the end times, which could bring cataclysmic destruction. He tries to recall why he's in this room, but he feels he has something to do with the gap in the wall of force that the Warden has beckoned him forward for this moment in time. As he mulls this over, he hears a voice as a moist and sweaty Cornelius runs in and sits next to Cornelius. So sorry I'm late. Don't worry, we've got this. So, we return to combat as Cornelius takes his seat and elbow nudges Helix and goes, "You're right there." So, return to combat. Tak calls upon the Raven Queen to be granted a shield of faith, and he runs and leaps over Rigsby to swing at the assassin, targeting me. Draconian strikes with the axe at his foes, but the attacks thunk against him. Thunk, thunk. How can this be? You should be falling like an axe of cards, like a house of cards. Axe of cards works quite well, because, you know, like, that would probably fall apart as well. Tak is about to take lightning damage from Core Lightning, but the Hammer of Vulca absorbs it like a lightning rod, which he can then launch it as a reaction as many times equal to his proficiency bonus, from what I understand. He managed to channel 2d8 damage, but has to take 8 damage back. I don't know how lightning rod works. I think at the end of the campaign, I might ask, like, you know, like, basically the behind-the-scenes stuff of what the characters had, and do like a... Yeah, I could probably do a few videos on that. Like, okay, here's what Draconian had with the, you know, with the Abyssal Warden axe, and here's what Takavria had with the Hammer of Vulca, and here's what, you know, Cornelius had and whatnot. Because I think he's got a ring actually. That, like, I think that might have been like a character feat, so I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, that'd be kind of cool. So, yeah. Moving swiftly on. An assassin turns to hit Tak and stabs twice, hitting as his joints tense up and he feels sickened. He's poisoned and paralysed. And I will say now, my heart goes out to Tak because he does not have a good time in this fight. But we will find out that the draconic assassins have very good reason to target him in particular. The green dragon is nowhere to be seen, but Helix returns to his vision. Ah, I see we have another guest. But yes, look at this latest news from Ostergarth. He summons an image of General Hummel bellowing, "We must breathe fresh new air into our defences." Airships float in the air. The soldiers gather around him, cheering, "Hummel! Hummel! Hummel!" Don't you see? We must summon the Hollow King. Ah, Cornelius, I didn't see you. What do you say to this as my newest advisor? That man doesn't represent the entirety of Ostergarth. He's not the common man, the one who will suffer the most. Cornelius knows more than he gives off. He flashes back to outside the palace in deep concentration. I can only hold this connection for some time. You must convince him, says Red Tiger, holding the astral projection spell ongoing. These are rather interesting words, says the Warden. You're a new member of the Griffin Guard. Your perspective would be greatly appreciated, Helix. Excellency. Grandmaster, if true, these images are disturbing, but this man is a traitor, that's not! How dare you, whelp! Calls out the Grandmaster. Volmak speaks up. The Griffin Guard is hot-headed and young. We need a serious and cool-headed discussion. We must release the Hollow King. End it, says Volmak. Helix is unsure of where he is, or when he is. Is this still in the palace's time loop? Illusory defenses? He bellows out that the Hydra is in the Grand Hall right now, battling assassins. An assassin, back in the court, enters a blood frenzy to attack Draconian, and another assassin launches 2 energy rays at Tack and 1 at me. The rearmost assassin casts Aura of Command, which we don't see the effects of yet. I strike the assassin before me in the back, which lands a satisfying crunch, but it causes the assassin to transform into something else. In autopilot, Helix continues the fight, and we're back in the court once again. In the conclave once again, sorry. Cornelius stands. May I walk about? Stretch my legs a bit. Please, speak your mind and be comfortable. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. And he walks in circles. He's been stared daggers by H.Y.D.R.A and Volmac. If you launch this, you will cause war. No casus belli, no honor, a simple surprise attack. To unleash this terrible weapon would be signing the death warrant of 1 million Ostagarthian civilians, not just the military, but the women, the children, and the elderly. Bracca does not stand for this, not for the death of innocents. Cornelius, what do you know of the Hollow King? Cornelius goes white as a sheet to the question the warden poses. A spectral figure apparates in the centre of the court. It is that which haunts Cornelius' nightmares. He stares at it, then returns his gaze to the Tranquility Warden, with a tear about to run down his cheek. It's what I see in my nightmares. It comes to me. The Warden nods. It is truly a terrible thing. Our greatest secret, perhaps. Our greatest shame. But perhaps our greatest defense. You'd raise this against the innocent. Against those who are not... Cornelius says, you'd raise this against the innocent. Against those who were not born during the war? Volmac speaks. The elderly and the infirm did not show any mercy to us during the war. H.Y.D.R.A reminds the warden he had the luxury of being born after the war. But I was there, warden. I saw the suffering. I saw the pain. And I felt it all. Cornelius wipes the tear forming. So that's it then? That's it? The sins of the father? Even if they don't have anything to do with their forefathers' actions, they can't strive to be better? No, the cycle continues and continues and continues and continues and continues! Until Elan is drowned in blood. That's how you want your reign to be remembered? A storm of blood that will rival the tempest. The image that haunts him disappears, and he rolls 25 persuasion. Nice. In combat, the Blade Singers are a spray in a stormy sea. A blade is brought up and Helix brushes it aside. In the gap of the wall of force, not a green dragon, but a draconic figure tries to burrow into the Tranquility Warden's mind. The illusory magics of the draconic assassins falls like sloughing skin, and their true forms are revealed, and more soldiers are known to us. Tack is no longer paralyzed, but is lethargic due to his poisoning. He swings his blade and tries to defeat Capac, the draconic chosen. He explodes as he split from arsehole to Kegel. I will be reborn! As he splashes acid onto Tack, whereas myself and Rigsby are able to avoid it. Tack then charges at a mage in the back. On Helix's turn, we see what the Conclave has to say about Cornelius' retort. Is this not correct? The bloodshed inflicted upon our ancestors. Two wrongs don't make a right, Volmac. The Hollow King is our greatest weapon. To have it used so wantonly. Volmac raises his arms in supplication. My grace, you must understand. It was created for a purpose. warden turns to Cornelius. I hear you, Herald Amelie. As a flash of recognition appears in his eyes, Cornelius hears in his mind, I've overcome the enchantment. Keep at it, Cornelius! From Red Tiger. He turns to Helix. All I want is to protect our people, Excellency. And at one time I would have sided with the Grand Master, to use our weapons to rid the existence of our enemy, but Cornelius is right. What do we gain from this bloodshed? They haven't threatened us, they haven't sent an army to conquer us again. What do we gain? We could say security, but is that it, really? Security? How could you say such a thing? You were involved in a raid of a cult that put our people in danger. Your involvement with Red Tiger has become legend, and now we have evidence of the chorus interfering with our stability. He throws down some sigils on the noble houses. Volmac's voice begins to change. Yes, Warden, listen. See how the Warmbloods connive you. Only Cornelius appears to hear this. Please, Excellency, please explore all diplomatic options before militant ones, says Cornelius. He tells Helix, you must have him. You must convince him. I don't have much time. Cornelius' astral self begins to phase. His final words to Helix are, violence only breeds more violence. Red Tiger, in exhaustion, notices the field around the palace fluctuate. Did you do it? Has the Hollow King been unleashed? Rakanar and Nero wail on the chitinous armor of the soldier Trag. I'll break your spell, half-breed, snarls the draconic barbarian as he's bitten by Rakanar's axe. He deals enough damage to stagger the foe, but is ready to come back swinging. The sorcerer in the rear looks oddly familiar to Tak, who launches a attack, and it launches a web at Tak as the mage Tak runs away. So there are two spellcasters, one doing the cast lightning and one doing like the I think call lightning, and I think one's doing energy ray and web. Forgive me, the details are a little fuzzy at the moment. I need to skip through my stuff. I'm caught up now. The draconian walks through the wall of force and turns to Tak. Hello, cousin. Have you come to join us to retake the mantle of leadership from which you all forsworn? Bah! It is like most of your kind. You give away freely that which you are granted by blood. I shall show you the error of your ways. I shall teach you your lesson. Tak resists the tendrils of domination entering his mind by saying, shove it up your asshole! With a wisdom save of natural 20 plus 5. Contrary to the tone of the fight, of where this is going, and the draconian leader says, I see. Then I shall enjoy ripping your skull out your asshole. The draconic barbarian looks to Nero and tries to grab him. Grrr! Oi! Burn now! And it misses by a gnat's hair as it claws with a gigantic fist to no avail. The barbarian then invokes Blood Frenzy. The draconic sorcerer starts to wail on Rakanar with the energy ray, causing 4 points of force damage with the first attack, 6 with the next, and swings at me with the ray. I engage in a shootout with the sorcerer, hitting for 19 points of damage total. Very nice. Just call me Revolver Ocelot. In the conclave, Cornelius is confused as to why he got Thanos'd out. Or Thanos out of the room, but he's making sense of what needs to be done. He rises from his seat and steps forth. Your Excellency, please, like that man said, whoever he was, please exhaust all diplomatic options. Send a delegation. Take the evidence, drop it at their feet of their queen, ask them why. The weapon will still be here. We must only use it after all other options have been explored. With that, he rolls 22 persuasion. Volmak tries to speak in his draconic tone, but the warden holds his hand up. Yes, you are right. We must appeal to the chorus. To understand, and then seek diplomacy afterwards. But we will need a neutral party. A group of people who would represent us in this manner. Represent us in this manner. For if I were to go, the conclave, it would be too strong a hand. Excellency, send the HYDRA. Tranquility Warden smiles. And there we go, back to combat. Tak breaks free of the webs and heals himself for 19 hit points as a dimension door opens up next to me and a sweaty Cornelius and Red Tiger appear before us. And I have the honour of taking control of Red Tiger. And so I have Red Tiger blade sing and strike at the Draconic Barbarian. Racconar brutal criticals the Draconic Barbarian with savage attacks, dealing 14 damage total, and due to bad luck with the dice rolls, he could have rolled 4d12, and he rolls 14 damage total. That ain't good. That's not good. The mage embiggens Trag, and the mastermind snarls at Tak. You will not submit, then I shall rend you from existence. And his claws drip with acidic vigour, striking but missing. You could have joined us. You could have led our legions to victory. How does it feel to be a traitor to your own species? Attack, holding his shield up, bashing the blows at every time. He says, "No, you are the pretender." Trag uses his Rage Flaming Carnage. I think it says Rage Flaming Carnage or Enrage Flaming Carnage, I don't know. As he slams his fist down on the ground and dealing 26 damage to Red Tiger. And not too much to Racconar. Nice. He then slams the ground more with a violent retaliation. Back in the conclave, Volmak says, "For a measured response, allow me to ask of the Hollow King, where is it stored? In what condition is it? So that we might know if it is in best shape to deal with the threat. Perhaps we should send a group of Riffing Guard or a neutral party to inspect it. But it must be. Perhaps it would be useful to send an expedition to where the Hollow King may be summoned. It must be done with great care. Indeed. Should the Hollow King be released, it would release untold destruction. You must understand, of course, Warden. We would never bring any harm to this world or realm. Then it is decided. I shall assemble an expeditionary force. Sorry, then it is decided. I shall assemble an expeditionary force, if you will allow it, Warden. Helix suggests a third party. Absurd! A third party? What madness is this? Too none, Jeremy. Are you insane? We may have too overzealous an expeditionary force if we assemble it ourselves, says Helix, and he rolls precision with disadvantage. Nat 20 plus 3, oh man, 17 plus 3, oh okay. Nice, well done. I like how the dice are always with the party face. Well done, keep at it. I've probably just jinxed it now. We cannot send just anyone to see our secrets and put our world in jeopardy, but I feel strange. Why are you here? As the Tranquility's eyes flicker open, and he sees the combat before him in the Grand Hall. Tak swings his katana at the Mastermind, dealing 17 damage with the first blow. Red Tiger launches magic missiles at 6th level, 8d4 plus 8, turning Trag into a Demartian cheese. Just cheese. And while the explosion causes no damage, the rock black sludge slows him down considerably. Guess where I got rock black sludge from? Not Crash Bandicoot, or Peep Show, come to think of it. So, Draconian charges into the sorcerer, his axe shattering the magics, protecting them. The mage launches lightning at Red Tiger, but Takavria absorbs most of it. The Mastermind calls out, "You fools! You're empowering them!" The Mastermind deals 19 points of damage with necrotic breath, bringing Tak down unconscious for the first time in the campaign. Ah! I think besides the time he got killed by the mummy, but other than that, pretty bad stuff. I am big and Ragnar and have Rigsby provide a nanomachine son to Takavria for 10 HP. Helix manages to draw blood from G.E.E.S.E and says, oh yeah, yeah. So Helix finally managed to draw blood from G.E.E.S.E, and the DM asks, "How do you do this?" And Helix's player, bless him, just goes, "Easy, stab him!" and just sticks him with it, and he deals 10 points of damage with a firebolt at disadvantage to the Grandmaster. Tak rises up and says to Rigsby, "Good boy," before doing a quick attack from navel to neck, and he does a mighty strike, but Eldritch Energies knit the Mastermind back. "I'll see you next time, traitor, in this life or the next." But the energies fail, however. The quickening does not keep his head on his shoulders, and he falls. Ragnar calls upon Nera to perform a dive on the sorcerer, but misses, disengaging and flying back. Ragnar then recklessly attacks and ends the sorcerer, splattering him to the ground, making a permanent stain upon the woodwork. And now all of the draconic beings are dealt with. Helix launches 5 attacks against the Grandmaster, and the Red Tiger realizes this is an honor duel. That while he could step in, it's gone beyond a mere brawl. He's being pummeled by G.E.E.S.E, and he can see in the background Takavria finishing off the maid behind him. The Grandmaster casts some chronomancy to slow time and pierces Helix's chest. "If plunging your blade into me saves millions of lives here in Bracca, then so be it." He was about to cast Fireball, but didn't want to hit Red Tiger, because, sort of Ragnar, right, who was also in the range, and instead cast Steel Wind Strike. He deals 6d10 to the Grandmaster, and teleports behind him, and plunges his blade into G.E.E.S.E, and the charm spell wears off. He turns around, and sees his opponent on the ground. "Helix, look at what they've done to us." As the blood leaks out of the Grandmaster's lips, he says, "I'm glad it was you, boy. You've saved me from a fate worse than death. My brother," he says to Red Tiger, "I bequeath to you the Griffin Guard in death. These draconians, they were only able to charm and deceive me with their magics, because there was a small nudge in my plate. My fear of the unknown, of what lies across the cold gulf, bested me. Hear this, old friend. They are yours now. Do not succumb to fear like I did. Helix, even through all this you maintain strength and faith, and we all hold dear. I die a lesser man than you, but you give me hope. The future of Bracca is bright. He looks to Red Tiger, nods and smiles. Gently, Helix squeezes the side of his face and his arm goes limp. The life in his eyes vanishes, his blood finally spilling its last onto the tranquil cause. His soul rises from his body, and with that, we're out of combat. The Griffin Guard begin to tend to the wounds of those who were left upon Red Tiger's orders. Grandmaster G.E.E.S.E is left there for a moment. The Griffin Guard request orders. Red Tiger pauses. He rolls 15 in religion, and he sees the soul of G.E.E.S.E. I won't come back, old friend. I go to the embrace of our ancestors. And I hope they will forgive me. Keep Brecker safe. The Tranquility Warden rises and glows with energy. May the heroes please approach me as friends. Warden casts gentle repose on the Grandmaster, the former Grandmaster. Please, grief your wounded, and let us speak of peace to come. Oh, I think it's Cornelius who steps up. Please, grief your wounded, and let us speak of peace to come. Your Grandmaster, was he always like that? No, that wasn't him. He was mortal, and all mortals have weakness. But how we forge that weakness determines how we become great. Warden casts precipitation to clean away the grime of battle, and Helix walks away with the remains of G.E.E.S.E. We approach the Tranquility Warden. Do not treat them as foes. We have seen their heroism in the defense of our people. HYDRA, what brings you here? The silence. We're not entirely sure what to say. Do we reveal our mission to find the places of power? What do we do in this scenario? We're here to bring peace, and you need not lie to me, Takavrianex, blacksmith and adventurer. We are not your enemies. As we've travelled, I've come to know the people of Ostergarth as good and honourable people. And even here there are those sowing the seeds of hate. We're trying to bring about peace and put an end to the injustice in this world. We're also here to find the place of power, an ancient temple which may possess the power of the Tempest. Well, you do not ask for much. The Temple of the Tempest was lost to the brave H.Y.D.R.A, which created the Tempest. Can these places of power lead you to it? Yes, Your Eminence. I can see why these draconic figures want this. Do you know them? Yes, we've faced them. In Ostergarth. They crashed an airship. They lurked in the sewers of Drumath. They, I believe, are responsible for the deaths of a great many lives in the Heartseeker Inn. And it brought about a plague near Oxglen. The Warden asked me the Kingdom's views. That these draconic attacks have spurred hate speech and are girding the militant loins of the Kingdom. He offers his hand, and I shake it. I thank you for your honesty and discretion. I appreciate it must be hard for you to do that. He turns to Cornelius and Racconar and tells them that we shall work together to find these places of power. We find ourselves running the roots of the World Tree, and suddenly we appear in Frostkeep, the northernmost part of Brecca, where the Slaver Empire came to take away those people. Today, we take our stand, as we did those many years ago, as if we are to find our salvation. You shall need a chariot to take you to these places of power. He gestures behind us, and an airship rises behind us. Adventurers of HYDRA, I present to you the Astral Phoenix. And on Elvish we see on the side the Astral Phoenix emblazoned in its oak made from the ancient World Tree. It was a project that once the people of Ostergaard took to the skies. We thought we'd take a hand at it. It's the only one in existence. As I understand it, we have the most timely appointment with the Kingdom, yes. The crew of the Astral Phoenix are G.E.E.S.E, of no particular loyalties or insignia. This here is Ignis Fateweaver. She is the heart and pilot of the Astral Phoenix. She and the crew will accept your orders and journey in your journey to these places of power. But know this, you must stay on the side of the light. And in so doing, this vessel would aid you in that endeavour. Our hopes and dreams rest with you. Ignis asks us, so, where to next? Session ends. Session 32 of A Debt to a Friend is absolutely one of those that I aspire to deliver one day. An epic battle with fantastic storytelling and great people to play with. And as well, I commend the DM as well for having split the game between the Conclave and the Tranquility Court. So yeah, that must have been difficult, but I'm glad that they made for a very coherent, cohesive experience all throughout, and yeah, it was fascinating, and I can't wait to see where this goes next. So apparently, before the next session begins, we are going to perhaps have some mechanics. So I might have to read up on Spelljammer a bit, we'll have to see. I don't know much about the Astral Phoenix beyond what we've been told. I'm sure we'll get information as and when is necessary. The next session of A Debt to a Friend, my darling dearest will be here, so my note-taking ability probably won't be its best, as ever. I have to split my responsibilities. But yeah, I'll still be there to play, and really looking forward to it. We're going to a gala, I think. Yeah, or maybe this urgent deployment is that the Hellhound that I rescued from the sewers of Drummouth has burnt down the bakery. So we'll have to see. Yeah. And I don't have any money to pay for the repairs this time. That ain't good. Hope mending covers the costs. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I think the next session I'm probably going to have to try and spend as much time as I can familiarising myself with the ship, getting to know the crew, getting to know how the whole thing works, and perhaps as well in a moment on my own, perhaps just say to Gond, the Wonder Maker, alright, you son of a bitch, you win. This is fucking cool, okay? Like, yeah, magic's great, machinery's better, you know? Industrialization for the win, right? Yeah, the smell of cordite's better than the smell of fireball. But this is pretty awesome. So, we will see. And, before I forget to say, we have ascended to level 10. The party will no doubt be pleased to know that I can make more shit for them. So, I will have to provide details on what I can make, and they can see if there's any particular items they want making and changing out. Because you can do that on a level up. I can make so much more cool stuff. So, we will see. So if you want that doing, let me know. So yeah, thank you ever so much for watching. Take care. It has been a fantastic session and a really good one to recap. I had a great time recapping this one. I'm glad I left it till today, because like this week has been quite draining. I've not had a good time with things. So, but yeah, the game's good. The game's fantastic, and this video's kept me going today. Sorry, I'm watching my screen and like the lens flare was going a bit funny then. Right, so I'll catch you later. Take care. Take care. Oh, and perhaps a new intro in session 33 of A Dead to a Friend. We will have to see. I still need to ask for permission to use that, but as far as I'm aware, should be fine. Alright, see you later. Take care. Stefano.